Good morning. My name is Diana Brown, and I am pleased to welcome you to the celebration of the new Appoquinimink Library. For those of you who have joined us on this journey, donating to the project or participating in a public engagement meeting, we hope you will be as excited as we are by what you see today. We are honored to have a number of speakers here this morning, but before we start our formal program, there are some individuals we would like to recognize. Joining County Executive MEYER today are Chief Administrative Officer Vanessa Phillips and her son, who is kind enough to join us. Chief of Staff Andrea Amon, and Deputy CAO Eric Razor-Schramm. From the Department of Community Services, in addition to General Manager Carrie Casey, we are expecting our former GM, Marcus Henry, and when you, And you know, Marcus and I'm so happy to have Carrie. Thank you. I'm so happy to have Carrie as my new boss, but I was pretty devastated when I found out Marcus was leaving us. But I've survived, Marcus. I've survived. And before I leave Marcus, I just want to point out that Marcus was instrumental, and I cannot stress this enough, in getting the site for this building, which was huge. So please give him a round of applause. I also want to thank Manager Kevin Swed, who has just done an incredible job with his staff. Thank you, Kevin. From the Department of Public Works, it's really important to acknowledge these people because they're the ones that handle the bids and are there every day, and they don't always get the recognition they deserve. So I would like to point out Paul Fries and Project Manager Steve Rubel. And from land use, who has to make sure we don't break any rules, we have General Manager Rich Hall. So thank you for joining us. From Public Safety, we have Director Vaughn Bond and EMS Assistant Chief Christopher Johnson. And Sheriff Scott Phillips and Captain Ronald Davis from the Middletown Police Department. One of the really great things about having a library here is that it's going to allow both county and state to provide some services and meet with their constituents. So we are happy that Recorder of Deeds Mike Kazakowski is here, as well as representatives from the Register of Wills. We have members of our Newcastle County Library Advisory Board who meet monthly throughout the year, and we really appreciate their guidance. So thank you so much for being with us this morning. One of the things that's important to recognize is that with projects of this scope, we need committed partners and people who are in it for the long haul. And frequently, we are doing these projects over multiple years and multiple county executives and multiple legislative sessions. And we're happy that this one we've been able to complete under this county executive, but there are some people who have been in it for multiple years. So we want to recognize the Friends of the Library for their significant ongoing achievement. And we also have former County Councilman Bill Powers and former City Councilman Norman Oliver here with us this morning. Another really, really significant partner for us is the state, and particularly the Department of State, because for those of you who don't know, the state funds up to 50% of these capital projects, and we are so fortunate to have that support. Not just the support for capital funds, but ongoing annual state aid. And the support of our state librarian, Annie Norman, who has just been amazing. With this project, we had the pleasure of working with another former Newcastle County employee, Department of Transportation Secretary Nicole Majeski. And we'd also like to thank our legislators for being here today. We are incredibly grateful for your funding. We have Senators Hansen and Ennis. We have Representatives Spiegelman and Hensley. And Tiffany Cade from Representative Moore's office. So again, thank you so much for the state support all the way around. So as you walk around this building today and the site, I would like you to be aware of who assisted in designing it, who the creative people were. We have the design team architects from Perkins and Will, Tetra Tech, and Catherine Taylor Design. If you just want to stand up so people know who you are. Thank you. We have Apex Engineering here, who made sure we didn't break any rules about where water flows and stormwater and all that stuff. So again, very important people. And we have Wilson Construction Management, who they really deserve a round of applause, doing this in COVID, not insignificant. So as I prepare to introduce our county executive, I just wanted to comment personally, working with him. You know, I've had the pleasure of working on, I think, every existing library in Newcastle County right now, at least the county libraries. And different county executives have been involved in varying ways. This county executive was extremely involved, and I think it's important to acknowledge his interest in sustainability. This is a LEED certified project, and you will notice that our parking lots are powered by solar panels. We have electric vehicle charging stations. We have a lot of bike racks. I think you picked out some of them personally. We have a beautiful meadow over here, which we're really excited to open a library with this much landscaping. And there's just a lot in this building that really reflects his interest in sustainable architecture. So with that, County Executive Meyer, would you like to join us?
Good morning. Good morning. This is supposed to be a party. Good morning. Yeah, that's right. Diana, thank you so much. Give Diana Brown a big round of applause. Thank you so much. I had heard a rumor this morning, Diana, that Jeff and Annie and Nicole were coming with Dolly Parton. So I thought all library events had Dolly these days. But I'm not going to sing that song. It's truly an honor to be here this morning. Extraordinary for the county, an incredible partnership. A few years ago, the Delaware Community Foundation brought James and Deborah Fallows here. They wrote a book called Our Towns. They're journalists, both of them accomplished authors, traveled over 10,000 miles across the country. They didn't go to the big cities. They went to the small towns and asked the question, in the last 50, 60 years, what happened to our country? What has happened to us? It seems that something is fundamentally different about the fabric of our country. And the book has some low points. If you ever read it, you get a sense that 40, 50 years our country had a direction and communities had a sense of where they were going, and some of that is lost through division and through contention. And it's very interesting. At the end of the book, they talk about the solutions. What do we do going forward? And the cornerstone of their solution to how we address our problems of today and tomorrow in communities across our country is public libraries. And today we celebrate not only Diana and her team, Vanessa Phillips, the Chief Administrative Officer, and everyone in her office and across this county doing a tremendous amount of work, all the designing, construction partners, collaborating really like never before with the town of Middletown, Mayor BRANNER, Vice Mayor Reynolds, and his team. I think this was unanimous through County Council, which doesn't always happen. Councilman Carter, Councilman Powers, tremendous support. And it's something that we can all rally around now, and I think we can say is sort of a cornerstone, a foundational property here right in downtown Middletown. Last year, I went with a number of Nemours doctors to a number of hospitals in the Gambia, a small West African country, and they didn't just go to the big cities. We went out to distant towns to train medical workers in health and in birthing babies. And I was maybe 3 or 4 hours outside the main city of Banjul in this distant village, this little government hospital, just about to start this medical training. And a 12-year-old named Aisha Njai came running up to me. She said, "Are you Matt Meyer?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "County executive?" I said, Not here, but yeah." And she said, "When are we getting our library in Middletown?" And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "You spoke in my elementary school in Townsend, or you read a book in my elementary school class in Townsend 4 years ago, and you said a library was coming to Middletown, and I want to know when it's coming." Aisha, who's here today, here it is. Here it is. So there are so many individuals and teams that have made this possible. Countless hours of fundraising, grant writing, phone calls, emails, meetings, a global pandemic thrown in for good measure. We were talking yesterday and said if someone wrote the story of this library, it would go in the fiction section. The Friends group here raised over $700,000. I'd like you all to stand if you could, so we can give you a round of applause. And I'd like to particularly highlight one member of the Friends who I know is with us in spirit today, someone who in my first weeks as county executive, I had never met him before, and told me the importance of not only doing this project, but doing it right and doing it in partnership with the town of Middletown, doing it in a place that was walkable and bikeable to residents who could not afford the transportation and now the gas prices, and that's Jim Young. Not only is the family of Jim Young here, but one of his granddaughters set up a lemonade stand to raise money for the library, raised over $300, which is something. And so we just want over $500. Somebody bought a lot of lemonade the past couple of days as it went up. But I'm presuming if you still want to contribute, you can probably still buy lemonade. But I particularly want to thank Jim's daughter and their family for continuing with us on this journey in spite of tragedy. Also, David and Janine Alkanowski, I think, are here today. They came forward with a $10,000 gift in honor of their uncle, Jim Dionich. Sorry for mangling his name. The adult reading room here will be named after him, as well as a community room named after Jim. That's right. Give them a round of applause. You know, it's interesting. Before I was in government, stuff just kind of happens, and you figure this is sort of always where the site was. It's an obvious site. It's a great site, and that's where it was going to be. Those who've been with us for the whole journey knows that, like many library projects, there was a lot of controversy about where to put the library, whether we put it in the town, outside the town. And in the midst of all that, we, meaning the mayor, myself, Marcus Henry, Kathy Jennings, who was then the chief administrative officer, we got in a van. Remember that, Kenny? We got in a van, and we drove around, and we made a list of sites, and we went to all the sites. And it's interesting, when I was thinking about that van ride, and I don't think this was too high on our list. It was high on our list as something that could be done, but a lot of people told us it could not be done. And Marcus Henry and Vince Garlick stepped forward, and Marcus and Vince truly made this site happen. So I want to give Marcus another round of applause. It's an extraordinary site. I think many of you know the YMCA is coming. It's going to be our neighbor, and I think it's a wonderful place for the town and for the county. An extraordinary partnership. As Diana said, without the support not just of Secretary of State Bullock, not just of Annie Norman, but of DelDOT, of Secretary Majeski, a Middletown resident who I know for her, this has been a passion project, along with tremendous, overwhelming financial support provided by the state legislators. I had to mention their tremendous partnership. Without them, this, of course, would not be possible. Look, buildings are important. They're really, really important. As Diana said, I'm being told that this is the first time in a long, long time that I can stand up as a county executive who started and finished a library project. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of work, a lot of details to get it done. What ultimately will determine the success of this facility is all of you and all of us. It's the staff creating innovative programming. It's the future leadership of the county and the state to make this place flourish. And of course, it's all of you to come to use this facility, fundamental to our democracy. I wanted to close by bringing up Kevin Swed for a minute. People are, the library staff not only made t-shirts, everybody makes t-shirts for events like this. They made a t-shirt at the library, designed, produced, fabricated, everything at the library. It has particular meaning that I enjoyed, so I wanted Kevin Swed. Give Kevin a round of applause. Kevin, come up and introduce.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I am so excited for you to see this library. It's really, I can't wait to see your reaction. Not only have we doubled the amount of books today in the children's section and all over, included a lot more seating and meeting rooms, but we have some very special creative spaces in this building. And it's sort of a transition that many libraries are making from moving from just being a warehouse or storage place for content to being a place where the community can create their content. So we have music studio, we have a video studio, but we also have a maker space. And you'll see all my staff today wearing this t-shirt. So this t-shirt says Appo Library Staff 023.5. 023.5 is a Dewey Decimal number for library staff. But this logo was designed by one of our staff members using Procreate and then transferred to an Inkscape design for a Cricut machine, a Cricut vinyl cutting machine, which carved out 40 or 50 of these logos for us to use. And then we used the heat press that was in the library to press this decal onto the t-shirt. We had 2 people make about 40 of these in one day with the equipment that's there in the library, and that equipment is going to be available for the community to use as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin. This is an extraordinary facility. Let's use it and use it in every way to bring our community together. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. You will notice that next on our program was Senator Coons, and if you've been watching the television, you know he's been pretty busy in D.C. So unfortunately, he's not joining us today, but the next time you see him, please thank him because the state is benefiting from some federal ARPA funds that will be used for library construction. And I know we have some friends from the Newark Library here today, and they're kind of looking forward to their project. So please, when you see Senator Coons, thank him for his work at the federal level. And now it is my distinct pleasure to welcome a fellow Claymonter. I have so enjoyed, I'm so grateful for his money, but I've also really enjoyed working with the Secretary of State. Delaware is incredibly fortunate to have had the support at the local and the state level that we've had. And he's somebody who really cares about libraries, and it is my pleasure to introduce our Secretary of State.
Thank you. Thank you for the shout out for my hometown and Governor Carney's hometown of Claymont. Well, we have a beautiful library, by the way, and which we dedicated in the Markell administration. I don't think you were county executive there then, but absolutely gorgeous library. Needs expansion, by the way. We're going to have to work on it a little bit. I am ecstatic to be here today, and that is the word that is most appropriate. I apologize for the governor, for Governor Carney not being here. I apologize for Lieutenant Governor Bethany Ho-Long for not being here. We're in Bethany's stomping grounds, are we not, Senator Hansen? Yes, we are. We wouldn't have Senator Hansen if we didn't have Lieutenant Governor Bethany Ho-Long. It kind of works that way. But Bethany had made a prior engagement up at Harvard University, couldn't be here this morning. But I know they are here in spirit because they are both huge advocates of Delaware libraries, and especially this one. I took a little sneak peek in this one because I got to go and be somewhere at noon, but I have had the honor of being at a number of new library openings, and we have some incredible ones in Newcastle County and up and down our state. And let me tell you, this is second to none right here. Great space, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful building. And it's been said a couple times, but I will say it again to Senator Ennis and Senator Hansen and Representative Spiegelman and Representative Hensley and all the members of the General Assembly who provide the bucks, the state half of the money that gets these done. Just thank you very much again. Your help has been incredible over the years. And to my colleague in the cabinet, Nicole Majeski, now Secretary of DelDOT, thanks for everything that you do, not only here, but up and down our state. Nicole, as Diana mentioned this, I need to clean up a little bit from some of your earlier comments. You mentioned Nicole being a former county employee, which she was, and she did a wonderful job. She worked for Chris Coons, and I was going to spend most of my remarks this morning making fun of Chris, but then he doesn't show up. So I got to sort of do this recalculation in my head. But Nicole was Chris's chief of staff. And about in the middle of his term in office, they brought in this new guy to be chief administrative officer, and they took a big chance. And Nicole trained him. Okay, okay. And that happened to be me. So I am also a former county employee, just so the record is straight. And I think I still have some pension time that I need to talk to you about. Because I don't know quite what you do with that, like when you become old. So the first time I touched Middletown Library was when I was chief administrative officer of Newcastle County, which was 14 years ago, folks. And when we were talking about this earlier, when we decided we were going to lease some office space, downtown for a temporary facility, and here we are. 14 years later, and we got it. And like I said, it's an awesome, awesome place. It has the wow factor in spades, and I think you're gonna really, really enjoy this place. In those intervening 14 years, we've been doing a lot of work. When Chris Coons was county executive and Nicole and I were working together in the county, we got a chance to open libraries on Kirkwood Highway. We opened one, improved one on Route 40. We opened another one someplace. My memory is Route 9. No, Route 9 was, I was already Secretary of State when we were doing Route 9. We did Kirkwood, exactly right. Made improvements to others, and then I went on to be the Secretary of State, left Chris in a lurch, and when Governor Markell was governor, we made some serious investments in libraries and built new ones in my hometown of Claymont. From Claymont all the way to Delmar, we were able to build new libraries and made history in the amount of money that we invested in Delaware public libraries. In the last decade, we've Annie just told me this earlier, we've added over 300,000 square feet of library space just in the last 10 years. And fast forward to the new guy coming in, John Carney coming in, he's not so new anymore. the new governor coming in, and in the first 5 years of his administration, he makes even more investments in Delaware Public Libraries, including opening new ones in places like Route 9, which is also an incredible facility. But fast forward again, one more time, to 2021 and now 2022. And somebody mentioned it, I think Matt may have mentioned it, or Diana, that we get, we have the virus, obviously, it was a bad thing. But one of the little slivers of light, one of the little slivers of good news coming out of the virus is we get all this federal money coming in. And guess what it can be used for? Building libraries. What could be better? And we have a governor who wants to do that. And so Governor Carney has committed, just in federal money this year, $40 million to build new public libraries. New public libraries, and new public libraries in places where they might not have been built, like in North Wilmington, for example, like in Harrington, for example. I know Andy loves that. Like in Selbyville, for example, where, frankly, coming up with that local match may have never happened. And that is going to serve segments of our community that may have never had the kind of library services that you are all going to enjoy now and in the future. And then the bond bill, and God bless those people for staying up last night and finishing the bond bill. There's another 26 or $27 million of state money committed to those same libraries. So in 1 year of 2022, the state will invest $70 million, state and federal. Yes, $70 million in state money to build new libraries. So thank you to, again, to Governor Carney and to Lieutenant Governor Holong, to Governor Markell before him for making those kinds of investments. I have been so lucky to have been Secretary of State during a time when we've been able to do all this work. But let me be very, very clear with you. I appreciate the kind words. But anybody who knows our department and anybody knows how I run our department, if we were like an organized crime unit, I should be careful with Kathy Jennings as our Lieutenant Governor. She'll probably indict me tomorrow. But if we were an organized crime unit, I'd be like the bag man. I don't actually get to make the decisions about where libraries get built and what they look like or anything like that. We have a great council on libraries that does that work, and we have a great state librarian who really makes it work, and that's Amy Norman. And Annie was a state librarian when I became Secretary of State, and when you become the new agency head, you get to kind of decide what you want to do with all your division directors. And so, we said, let's give her a test run, see how she does. And 13 years later now, it's been a great partnership, Annie. And you've done an absolutely terrific job for our state. So I'll close with this, because I was told to be short, and I've already gone well beyond the time. Here's what I only have one request of all of you, and to the friends, again, thank you so much for the wonderful work you've done in helping make this happen. But I have this request of you, because when you talk about like $70 million in 1 year, 300,000 square feet of new library space in a decade, another 100,000 once these new libraries get built, your reaction might be, so what? Maybe we could have used that money better doing something else. And, maybe. So this is my request of you. Once all these important people have gone home, once all these cameras are gone and these articles have been written, whatever they're going to say about today, things have calmed down, this library is operating, come back in a couple months and walk through that library and see who's using that library. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed, Mayor. It'll be a cross-section of your town, from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich, of all colors, of all gender, and they'll be looking for different things. Some will be looking for a job. Some will be looking to get their kids somewhere for a couple hours and not in the house. Some will be in that teen room. Some will be making T-shirts, evidently. Whatever they're doing, These libraries are serving a purpose today that they didn't serve when I was a kid. It didn't serve when I first started out in government. And they are an important function of our community, more important now, as the county executive pointed out, than they ever have been. So come back in a month or so. Take a look at who's in there. You'll be amazed. Thank you very much. Good luck. Enjoy this place.
Thank you so much. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Councilman Carter, and as he's coming up, I would like to thank him. I think you hosted the first fundraiser that we did for this project and the volunteer brewing. So thank you for getting us started.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is exciting. It was wonderful to hear some of Jeff's background and history. I think I go back a little bit over 20 years. I started actually working and advocating to try and get this library with Chris Roberts, then Patty Powell, then for some years pressuring a little bit Bill Powers, and somehow I got lucky in the lottery and ended up having it built while I was here. So it's been a long time coming. It's been just an amazing effort. I can't thank enough all the community members who stayed the course, kept asking, kept begging, kept pressuring, kept talking about the need for this library because it's really, really important. I want to thank all of the different folks that made this a reality, the Friends Group, who was wonderful to work with. We did do our first fundraiser with volunteer brewing. In the book, Our Town, they say libraries and craft breweries are what signify main streets that are up and coming. Highlighted in the very last chapter of the summary. So volunteer brewery, there's a good link there. I appreciate you helping to get us started with the capital campaign. And Susan and Juanita, all of you who worked so hard. It was just wonderful and fun, and so delighted you did that. All the county staff, the county executive who, before I was elected, I put a little pressure on about the need for resources down here. Matt, thank you so much for following through on this one. It means a lot. It's really important, and hopefully it's turning the corner for what we're getting down here. And all of my state elected officials, as well as my town officials. When you're in southern Newcastle County, we have a lot of growth, a lot of changes, a lot of need, and we have to work together a lot just to kind of hold it together and get through the transitions and the changes. And it's been wonderful. I do want to take a minute and really express my gratitude to my fellow members of County Council. We did get a unanimous vote for this site. I can't say it was easy. It was one of the earliest pieces of legislation. This site, which I knew in my heart was the best site, had been announced, and I didn't think I was anywhere near the votes from the beginning. And, but what happened, we had some pretty spirited discussions and debates, very thoughtful and meritorious discussions about where it should be, how should it pay, wouldn't the library stimulate more amenities in a new growing area in the northern part of the county. But then we began to work the data, the demographic data, the social equity data, who it was, who needed it most. And I was really proud to be part of a council that with all of those other issues that we're still struggling with, how to get amenities throughout southern Newcastle County, the final vote came down unanimously, driven by the need to reach social equity. And that's why it's here. It's been a long time coming, but when you see it, you'll know it's very much so worth the wait. And nowhere in Newcastle County do I think we're more in need of these type of institutions. We are changing, we are growing. Those of us who have been here for a while, new people from new areas, mixing with older people from older areas, a lot of different demographics, and we don't always know each other real well. And these type of common spaces are really important to bring us all together, to get to know us as a community, to be able to work together and work through many of those issues and problems that we have. This growth's going to keep going. And we're going to have to keep working at it. And I know for my part on county council, I get out of here today, we're going to celebrate, and tomorrow I got to go back to work to figure out what else we're going to do in the other areas of the district. We need amenities. Fortunately, we did get a community center up at Whitehall, and thank you so much for doing that. That's a big help. You know, I also hope that this library is a start and has a much bigger spillover. There's been a lot of years of difficulties of intergovernmental coordination in southern Newcastle County. We haven't always seen our government agencies work together, and to have everybody working together here on such a successful project, I hope that it has turned a corner for good and that it will continue to build on that. At least on this project, whatever baggage we had, everybody checked them at the door and we got through it. I hope we don't pick them up again, but we'll see how that goes. So it really did have a lot. I do want to talk a little about libraries. It's been said you can't judge a book by its cover. We can't judge libraries that way either anymore. I mean, libraries really are, and this library in particular, because of the changes we're going through in this community, is going to be a community builder. It's going to be that center for interaction that we so desperately need. It's going to pull together our folks from in town and out of town to have a cohesive MOT area again. Something's very important, I think, to me as you try and cross these jurisdictions, work with 3 towns plus the unincorporated area. Finding those things are really easy. This particular library is also a champion for our youth. When you see the size of the children's section, when you see the other stuff, it's going to be really important. And that's something that, we've got a lot of work to do in southern Newcastle County. We have a lot of kids. We have some of the largest household family sizes, largely because of Appoquinimink School District. And trying to meet those children's needs are really important. A lot more than books, a lot more than computers. There's a whole lot that goes on to stimulate imaginations and to be the creative commons for our community. In Newcastle County, not just this library, all the libraries, as you really look at them, Route 9 is a shining example of it as well. Our libraries are really dynamic and socially responsible institutions. They serve a social function and an institution at a time when we're seeing a lot of our civility drop, a lot of our trust in institutions drop. This will be one of the first government institutions, along with our public schools, that a lot of our children's encounter. And it's a chance to really begin to build and understand the positive side of that and hopefully get us back to some of the civility that we've had. We're fortunate, very fortunate, that all of the public officials and the community was so supportive of this, the money from the state, Matt in particular for sticking his neck out and making sure that we got this done, And for all the community, I just want to thank you for your persistence and determination that kept this going. It's finally here to enjoy, and I can't wait to join all of you and work on the Lego wall inside. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And following up on the notion of partnership, the town of Middletown has been a wonderful partner in this project. We're so happy to have the mayor and the vice mayor with us, as well as Councilman Blythe and Sherman, and Public Relations Director Kristen Krenzer, Public Works Director Wayne Kersey. So thank you for being such a great partner in this project. We appreciate it. Before I introduce the mayor, I'd just like to share with you a vision, and I think you remember this as well, Mayor. We've talked a lot about the journey of getting here, but this was actually a real journey. And I probably look different because it was a few years ago, but I had the pleasure of joining Mayor BRANNER and former General Manager Marcus Henry and Vince Garlick. I was thinking there was a 5th person, but anyway, we were literally in the car being given a tour of the town of Middletown, and no one has more pride in this town than your mayor does. So thank you, Mayor.
I think Okay. Matt mentioned a tour that we took. We took a tour he drove, and his chief of staff was up front. And those of you that ever have a chief of staff, they're going to agree with whatever the chief says. So Marcus and I were in the back seat, and we had a list. Matt was right. We had a list. We visited all the sites. And nobody except Matt and Kathy, who agreed with Matt, knew that this wasn't going to be the next site. Marcus and I, hell, that was obvious. We'll show you all the others, but we're going to be here. So for once, Matt listened to us. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Middletown. I'm pleased to be here, obviously. There's nothing more important than what we're doing here. Yeah, we did a lot of meetings. We had a lot of discussions to be able to get to here today. Jeff Bullock and I go way back. In the beginning, we're good friends now. In the beginning, we had some great meetings. Right, Jeff? I mean, under Governor Minner, and yeah, loud. But we get things done when it's loud. Yeah. We did the same thing here. We had a lot of discussions. Everybody that knows me, the relationships that we had with previous county executives. Matt has been great. Chris Coons and I were partners, and Paul Clark was great for everything. And I don't remember any other county executives. So enough said about that. I'm so glad that all these discussions carried forward. Our county executive, Matt MEYER, we've always viewed south of the canal as a partnership with us going forward. I'd like to thank Matt and his staff and all the work that they've done in the last few years to really bring this library to the little corner here in Middletown. Thanks to Marcus Henry, Tracy Searles. In the beginning, this wasn't an easy process. There's a developer, I don't know if he's here or not, that's on the other side that has shared this property. We had some very good discussions with him going forward. And because of Marcus's tenacious attitude and Tracy's support, we got this done. We settled on this property. I'd also like to thank Governor Carney, Lieutenant Bethany Hall Long, and especially the bond committee under the existing leadership of Nicole Poore, Senator Poore. She's chairman of the bond bill, but previous chairmans included Quinn Johnson, who's a great friend. They were the ones that got this rolling, and it takes several years in the bond bill to get the money. So all those, the support from them to be able to get the funding. It ended up being, as Secretary Bullock brought up, 50% of the funding came from the state for this. So without that, we wouldn't be here. And this project's one of the ones that everybody hears about, but very, very seldom happens. And it doesn't have anything to do with the Secretary of Transportation being a town resident. Trust me, if I call Nicole, she answers. That is a plus. Most people don't believe that, but it doesn't hurt having her vote for us in the elections and be a town employee. I mean, I'm sorry. Not yet. So this project was the way it should be. All projects should be this way. It should be a state, the county, and the municipality, wherever that is, working together as a partnership. And this has truly been a partnership. From Matt's guidance in the very beginning, and with the governor making the commitment to go forward with this. And then we've always supported it. Middletown has always thought that a library needed to be in town, and we had supported however we had to do it, and we've done that. I hope I can get through this. Jim Young? Oh, sorry. Deep breath. Jim Young had a vision for a library here, and he started beating me up from the very beginning about, you need to put me on that committee, you need to make me represent Middletown, and through his guidance and leadership to be able to do this. I honestly believe it would be here. Sorry, if you just see me cry, it won't be in occasions like this. Jim's looking down on us right now with a big smile. So this building has been in the works for many, many years. Newcastle County Community Services staff, the librarians, and the Friends of the Library, I can't say enough about them, need to be committed for their behind-the-scenes work to be able to get this done. Sure, we had all the meetings, we signed the contracts, and we made the agreements. We traded properties to find the perfect location. But the day-to-day work is more important than anything else going forward. And I'd like to thank everybody that's out in the audience now for going to keep the library going in the future. But those of us who can walk here, and there's many of us probably here, will soon be able to stop into the library. You can visit, go to Silver Lake Park. Our new YMCA is going to be in the back. Probably the end of next year. And pickleball courts will be there also. And this area, as Matt mentioned, will be a destination place. It's going to be something where people come and congregate. If you know me, one of my favorite movies is The Field of Dreams. And a statement in the movie that I've always, ever since I've been mayor, has been, build it and they'll come. And that's what Kevin Costner said in the movie. Well, we built it and you came. Whether you just want to browse, check out a book, or just chill and cool out, you can do it now because of all of us here today had a hand in building our library. I appreciate being a part of this event, and I look forward to working more with Middletown, Newcastle County, and the state of Delaware, especially our county executive going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate those remarks. At this time, I would like Community Services General Manager Carrie Casey to join me for some very special presentations. So County Executive Susan Kemmer, Steve Rubel, can you hear me? Please come on down. And Kevin.
Yeah, let me do that. I'll do it.
You're going to do it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Diana, you don't go anywhere either. So we wanted to just pull out a few of the folks, kind of our unsung heroes in some of this work. Every single person that's here today deserves a huge thanks, a lot of recognition, and we have some special surprises inside as well. But we wanted to just highlight a few of those folks. So the first person we'd like to call up is Sue. Thank you for everything that you have done for the library. We want the county executive to come up too. Sorry about that.
I just need to say it's a team, and I'm here representing the group.
Yes.
So.
Got it. All right. Present that.
It's I don't know if it's I think it's the first library opening when we've had a drone in the county, which enabled us to make some nice photography. So it's a beautiful photo of the new library.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. All right. Steve Rubel, he is the guy that knows detail, keeps us all calm, project manager for this project, and we're just so grateful to him for all the work that you've done for us. So thank you. So you have this beautiful building, you have all of these programs and services, but you need someone to guide the ship. And he's been not only, you know how stressful moving can be, right? Oh my gosh. So Kevin has led this move seamlessly and done it, you know, through the fabric of the community. So there you go, Kevin. Okay, so this one, couple surprises here. Diana. Unbelievable. I call her the project manager extraordinaire. I mean, she manages these library projects with a tight grip and keeps us moving on schedule. And so, Diana, thank you so very much. Let's give her a hand. And last but not least, hopefully this is another surprise, someone that really deserves credit, because we can have these out-of-the-box ideas, we can have projects in our minds, but without the political will and support and confidence that we can do it, it has to come from our county executive. So County Executive Matt Meyer, a photo for you. There we go. So again, we just wanted to pull out a few of the folks, and we know every single person here, we would love to individually talk about what they've done to create this library, but thank you very much. So now it's time for the exciting part, the ribbon cutting. As you can see the beautiful red ribbon there, I'm going to ask certain folks to follow the group here over to the ribbon, okay? And then everybody else follow. So County Executive Meyer, we have Chief Administrative Officer Phillips, Secretary of State Bullock, Annie, please, Councilman Carter, Senator Hansen, Senator Ennis, Representative Hensley and Spiegelman, the mayor, please, Kevin, come on down, the friends, Susan and Valerie, Marcus, there he is, okay. And I don't know if Tracy is here, Tracy Searles. So maybe Paul Frees, you around? And so everybody, let's do it. We're ready to open this library. We're just gonna cut the ribbon. So come on down.
Now down. Are we sure it's cutting? Big. On the ends, you gotta pull. So that's tight. Let's talk. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,